Have you ever successfully stopped a repeat marketing or scam phone call? How did you do it? Hello, we'd like to offer you a free trip to Las Vegas. Hello, we'd like to offer you a free trip to Las Vegas. Sir, are you aware that you just called the emergency line of a Department of Energy research facility? We need to keep this line clear. You will add us to our do not call list. If I receive another call from your company, I will report upstairs. Click. It helps that I'm not lying. We now have a Discord. Check out the server in the link in the description. Story 2. I got a call from one of those, "You've been selected for a free trip to the Bahamas" scammers. I told her that I couldn't do that right now. "Oh no, sir, you don't understand. It's free. You just need to." No, I understand that, ma'am. It's just that I'm currently under federal investigation and cannot leave the country. "I'm terribly sorry, sir. I'll remove your number from our list. Have a wonderful day." Click. Story 3. I get a call from a random pharmaceutical company saying that my supply of Viagra is ready for pickup. I said that I only took half a pill and now only half of my pee-pee was hard. Now my base is hard, but the tip was soft and I was upset. I keep going on this Viagra rant for about a minute or so and then they hang up. Happened twice and my friends are still laughing. While I respect the creativity, it also doesn't sound like OP stopped it if they did it twice. Story 4. Would receive a specific one 9 times out of 10. Your car warranty is about to expire. Press 1 if you'd like to be connected to a representative. So I would oblige, wait for someone to come on the line and say make, model, and year of your vehicle, which I usually followed up with 2013 Hasbro ATV or 2017 Little Tykes Tricycle or something of that nature. I must have become a famous caller because they only called maybe 6 times after I started doing that, and they always started it with, "Oh, look who it is." Eventually, it just stopped. I assumed it's because they were tired of wasting their time on someone who's wasting theirs. Story 5. Not me, but my grandma. After Grandpa died, she started getting phone calls in the evening from an insurance agent trying to sell her insurance for her husband. She's very polite, but she always says, "No thank you," before she hangs up the phone. This goes on for about a week. Grandma is really beside herself about these calls, and she tells my mom how upset she is with this man. One evening, the guy was really impatient with her, and before Grandma could say, "No thank you," the agent asked her, "But ma'am, you need your husband to be covered. Don't you care if he's covered?" To which she promptly replied, "He is covered with 6 feet of dirt. Is that enough coverage for you?" The man hung up on her and didn't call again. Grandma was a really nice lady, and she was embarrassed that she lost her temper with that guy. My sisters and I love that story. This man hung up and didn't even say sorry. What a jerk. People who do these repeat phone calls truly just have no souls. Story 6. I'm sure another scammer will call again since it's just an act that all of them do. But I got a Social Security scam call. They told me they had found 22 pounds of drugs in a Toyota Camry with some blood in the front seat. Because they always say that exact same line, I responded, "Oh my god, that's terrible. So are you telling me that this was not you who left the car there?" "No, that was me, but I had 30 pounds there." "Are you telling me that someone stole 8? So he was very confused and I was accusing him of stealing it. Then he started swearing at me until he hung up. Story 7. I used to get a lot of unsolicited calls from a company who could sort my debt. I got a call from them one day when I wasn't doing much at home, so I decided to have some fun. I gave them a fake name, fake address, which they couldn't find on their system. I convinced them it was a new build eventually. I then went through my debts meticulously, had them waiting while I found some paperwork, etc. Some of the debts were for my sex change, and then reverting back because I changed my mind. 30 to 40 minutes later, and I had over 300,000 pounds of debt, and able to pay up to 4,000 pounds per month to clear it with them. The woman on the phone got her boss because it was such a big contract. And when her boss lady got on the phone, I told her I made it all up. I kid you not, she told me I was wasting their time, and that I shouldn't do that. Then she hung up on me. Never heard from them again. Story 8. I got a call, started reeling off this massive script. Finished probably after 2 minutes of solid talking, and I politely sat through the whole thing. I paused and said, "Sorry?" She said, "Again," and started the whole script again from the start. Another 2 minutes solid talk while later, I said, "Sorry?" This time there was a bit of frustration in her voice. "Again!" And once again did the whole 2 minutes again, aggressively this time. "Sorry? Screw this." And the call ended. Story 9. I tried to troll a guy who was clearly calling people to get their bank account information by saying they were giving away money to help college students. He was from India and was dedicated to his job. I tried to piss him off for about 30 minutes, but he kept interrupting me, and I eventually told him to screw off and hung up the phone. He kept cutting me off saying, "But my friend, my friend!" Story 10. About once or twice a week, I would get the Microsoft support phone call. For about 3 weeks, I would hang up on them. After about a month of this, I decided to jack with them. I let them give their line about my computer is sending them errors, blah 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 blah. I kept responding with interesting, okay, fascinating, etc. When they said that they wanted to connect to my computer, I told them this would be difficult. They asked why. I told them that they had called the server room for the Pentagon. I don't think I had ever heard anyone hang up that quickly. OP, just a recommendation from me. Maybe stop using the phrase jack with them. Just a recommendation. You don't have to take it. Story 11. I managed to stop the Indian Microsoft customer service scammers from calling me. The callers were getting pretty bad earlier this year, probably 4 a day from the same people, usually the same people. I finally got tired of it and decided that I was going to mess with them. So the next time they called, I told them that I had all Apple products. Well, what do you know? A few minutes after we hung up, Apple customer service called to tell me that my computer had a virus. Cue my response. Apple? Why is Apple calling me? I only use Windows products. The guy cursed at me and hung up. This little charade went on for a few days, with him getting angrier and angrier every time. He said he was going to cut off my face and wear it one time. I told him that I would feel pretty sorry if he did, because then he would be even uglier than he is now. That was the last time I heard from that particular guy, as they switched over to having a woman call me after that. Though I could clearly hear him ranting about me in the background during one phone call. I kind of feel sorry for the woman, because I had hatched a master plan to get the calls to stop, and she just so happened to have drawn the short straw to call my house that day. Her. Hello, this is Microsoft customer service. Ma'am, I'm calling you today to tell you that your computer has a virus. Computer? I don't own a computer. Oh, I'm sorry, not your computer, your tablet. I don't own one of those either. Well, how do you get on the internet? The internet? Why would I want to get on the internet? We don't allow any of that devil's technology in this house. The internet is a tool of Satan. I refuse to use it. I will not touch any piece of technology that can access it. How dare you imply that I would fill my life with sin by having a computer? I rebuke that idea. I then ranted about technology being the devil for several minutes, as well as offered to perform an exorcism for her, to rid her of the technological demons she'd opened herself to, even pretended to speak in tongues at one point. At first, she kept trying to interrupt me and continue with her spiel, but I just didn't let her. By the end, she was speechless. She managed to stutter an apology and hung up. And I haven't been bothered by either Microsoft or Apple customer service in probably 6 months. Story 12. After I had my first child, I kept getting calls about how the netting they used for my hernia surgery was being recalled, and that I could get a lot of money if I took the time to talk to them. I told them that I never had that surgery and that it must be a mistake. They asked if I was in the hospital on blank day. I said yes, but because I had a baby, not because I had any surgery. It looks like their records are mistaken and to please take me off the list. I thought that was that. I got a phone call 3 times a week for months, having the exact same conversation each time. I would say, take me off this list right now and I want to speak to your manager. They would hang up. I could tell it was the same guy. Finally, after almost a year of this crap, I was sitting in the car waiting for an appointment. I was pretty early and had a lot of time to kill. They call me again. I tell them, you have made a mistake, take me off this list, and I want to talk to whoever is in charge. He hung up. I realized that I actually had their number in my phone, so I called him. I have your number now, and I'm not going to stop calling until you let me talk to your manager. Ma'am, please do not call this phone again, as this is my personal cell phone. Oh man, it was so on when he told me this. I proceeded to call his number over 20 times. Each time he answered, I said the same thing. I have your number now. I'm not going to stop calling until you let me talk to your manager or take me off this list for real. At one point, he even said I was mistaken and he knows I had hernia surgery. After what felt like the millionth call, a woman answered. Why do you keep harassing one of my employees? I have told your employee that he has the wrong person and to take me off the list. He refuses to believe me and has been calling for 3 times a week for the past 8 months. Ma'am, he is calling you because you are on our list and he can help you. Pretty much saying the same crap the other guy was saying, but with a really crappy attitude, like it's me who's the jerk here. I have his number now, and if you want me to stop, you need to take me off this list and never call again. If you do not, I will call him every minute I have a chance. I spend a lot of time in my car waiting for clients to meet me, so you guys will be hearing from me a lot. Her with a long pause. All right, ma'am, I took you off the list. Please don't call here again. Click. They never called again. Story 13. I took a call from the I hear you've had an accident that wasn't your fault call that I get about once a week. It's automated at first, but as soon as I said yes, I got put through to someone. I spent 20 minutes explaining how someone reared into my lane and crashed into me and it wasn't my fault. At the end, when they asked me for the details of the damages, I explained that they bent the handlebars a bit, but the bicycle was mostly okay. They hung up on me and I haven't heard back from them for about a month. Story 14. One Sunday morning a few years ago, I was awake with my father and chatting over coffee and such, as we would often do. We got another marketing call we had been periodically getting from Dave's Carpet Cleaners. We would always just ignore it and hang up. On this morning, though, as we were chatting within a period of about 15 minutes, we received the same call from the same source 9 times. This was about 7:45 to 8 a.m. on a Sunday. I think we can all agree that Sundays are not the days for these things. Finally, when the anticipated 9th call came in, at my urging, my father agreed to do something. This call was basically just a recording of Dave introducing himself and his company and his services, and telling the person on the other end to press 1 to speak to a representative to set up an appointment. My father went through the motions to speak to a representative, and when he got through to an actual person, as she said something to the effect of, "Hello, are you having a nice day?" my father snapped back, saying stuff like, "No, I am not. This is the 9th frickin' call we have got from you in the last 15 minutes on a Sunday, for frick's sake. Let me speak to your supervisor." He gets the supervisor on the line and says basically the same thing and tells them that we were looking to have our carpets cleaned, a lie, but would never hire them and tell everyone we knew to not hire them as well. We've never received a call from Dave's Carpet Cleaners ever again. Story 15. The thing that gets them is wasting their time. They are getting paid to make calls, so the longer you keep them on, the better. One thing I like to do is start a rambling story that goes nowhere, like Grandpa Simpson does on The Simpsons. You know, like, survey? Yes, I've taken some surveys in my time. Why, I even worked on one once. Now, I think it was in '06, or was it '07? No, it must have been '06 because that was the winter I crashed my Buick. God, I miss that old car. It was such a beautiful shade of green like the jungle. Now, I've been to the jungle and boy do they have mosquitoes. Honestly, if OP can really come up with stories like that on the spot, they better be making a career out of it because that's kind of impressive to just be able to ramble on and keep someone on the line. Or maybe I'm just bad at talking. Story 16. When I can be bothered, I like to waste their time. Microsoft scammer? I put on the little old lady act, not understanding their instructions and insisting they help me with my problem of a broken integral coffee cup holder disk drive. When they're at a breaking point, I tell them that it says Linux on my computer. Is that the same as Microsoft? That finishes them off. Occasionally, I get a call from legal companies. We call them ambulance chasers in the UK, who, if you've had an accident, they want to sue the other side for a big cut of the award. I describe how dreadful the accident was, blah blah blah, to get them excited. Then, when they ask if they can sue on my behalf, I say, unfortunately not, because I died in the accident. Lots of swear words and crashing down of phone follows, but they don't ever call back. If I'm not in the mood, I just tell them to screw off and unalive and put down the phone. Story 17. So I act interested so I can get a real person on the other end and tell them, I'm very interested in the product/services y'all are offering, but unfortunately I'm a bit busy at the moment. Could I have your personal cell phone number so I can connect you later tonight? The lady replied, Sir, I don't feel comfortable giving out my personal cell phone number. To which I replied, Oh, you don't want to be called by someone you don't know on your personal cell phone? She then hung up and never called back. Alright, I'm not gonna lie, this one took me a bit to understand and I feel a bit dumb. But yeah, OP has a fair enough point here. I'm just surprised that the telemarketer listened. Story 18. Coworker's landline was being hit. I got annoyed so I answered once when he was gone. They were trying to sell car insurance. I basically tried to play Chad from SNL. Are you looking to reduce your car insurance payment by up to X amount? Yeah. Great, well I have a few questions if you have time. Sure. Is your driving record in good standing? Oh yeah. Any history of drug or alcohol abuse? Uh-huh. Oh, have you ever received a DUI or have been arrested for reckless driving? Yup. Well, I'm sorry to say we don't have any plans you qualify for at this time. Oh man, this is just the really passive way of yes-anding. I think OP may be secretly an improv champion. Story 19. Not me, but my mom did. Guy called our house and left a message saying he was from the IRS and that my sister never paid her taxes. My mom decided to call back the number they left. The guy picked up and told my mom that the police were going to be coming to our house in 30 minutes unless we talked to Sheriff Ryan and paid the taxes. She asked how to talk to the sheriff. The guy gave her the exact same number to call back. She said, why don't you just hand the phone to him? The guy says he was unable to do that and we needed to call back. My mom just said, well, tell the cop that the door is unlocked and I just bought some Dunkin' Donuts. The guy hung up. Story 20. I started calling the number back, the one about the social security number/warrant thing. They'd actually answer, so I rotated between being really confused, speaking Arabic, putting the phone up to my TV while Aquanauts played, letting my not yet fully speaking toddler try to talk, singing, saying nothing, etc. Whatever I could think of to try to annoy them, I tried. They had called maybe 3 days in a row before that, but they didn't after. The last time I called, they hung up on me. Story 21. Not me, but my dad in a super gentle voice. Sure, I'd be interested in buying some. I have my wallet right here, but I have a question first. Would you like to be my friend? Okay, sir, I'll be your friend. Now, if I could get your... Oh, good. It's just I don't have many friends, and it would be nice to have more. What's your number and address? Sir, I can't give you that information, but if I could just... But then how can we be friends? I was hoping we could get together for milk and cookies. The telemarketer eventually handed him off to her boss. My dad explained that he was going to buy whatever product the employee was selling in exchange for friendship, but couldn't get their phone/contact info, and he was worried this would make friendship hard. They hung up on him. A milk and cookies hangout? This telemarketer missed out. Story 22. It was a joint effort. I kept getting a call not only from the same company, but the same individual. He had a very distinctive speech pattern and was looking for Clarence Miller because the lucky son of a gun had won the lottery. After I, with my very obviously female voice, told him to remove the number, he called a few days later looking for Mr. or Mrs. Clarence Miller. Resourceful. My boyfriend answered once as if he were a phone operator and kept asking him ridiculous questions to help direct his call. That went on for about 10 minutes. A coworker answered in Greek once, which I think just confused the guy. No fewer than 3 other people answered just for the sake of saying that they had spoken with my own personal scammer. This went on for months. Finally, I was in a meeting and couldn't answer, so Bubbles, as we affectionately named him, called 8 times in a row. Haven't heard from him since. We think he had to prove that the number wouldn't answer before he could remove it from the list. Bubbles, if you read this, we all hope you found happiness, and Clarence Miller. How dare OP sully the name of a Powerpuff Girl to a scammer? So disrespectful. Story 23. Well, this wasn't a phone call, but the Facebook hacks, and then they send you the messages through Messenger trying to get you to give up all your information. My uncle got hacked one day, and my brother and I got friend requests from him. My uncle sends me a message explaining this wonderful money management system and how I could join. I asked him what my nickname was because it's a very specific one that my real uncle gave me. Caught him out and he blocked me. 5 minutes later, my brother gets the same message. I told him to play along like he's interested, just so our fake uncle could put out that introductory message out, and then I sent back the same message word for word about the wonderful money management system said scammer tried to sell me. It was wonderful. He promptly deleted that account. Story 24. I have the awful ability to sound like a toddler. One time, a long while ago, I was getting scam calls multiple times a day from some damn vacation scam. On an exhausted whim, I decided to answer like a child. I did my best, hello? And the lady asked where my parents were. I proceeded to respond with, it's just me, but it's okay, I got the cat and some matches. And proceeded to act out accidentally catching the cat and the house on fire. All the while, the lady is trying to talk this pyromaniac toddler out of setting fires and to get out of the house. Then, I hung up and the lady called back immediately. So of course I answer in my best grown-up voice and tell her she has the wrong number. I've got no children. I haven't gotten a call from that lady or the company since. Story 25. My grandma was getting calls from a Jamaican claiming that she won $50,000 in a brand new 2019 Lincoln car. All she needed to do was go to Walgreens, buy a $200 gift card, and give him the numbers off it. Called her repeatedly. My aunt was out for lunch with grandma one day. Guy calls. Aunt takes the phone, tells him her brother, my dad, just got out of prison and he's not afraid to go back. My dad has never been to prison. And then hangs up. Grandma is at my house for a holiday. Her phone rings. It's him. Dad takes the phone and walks into the other room. Starts screaming at the guy, saying how he just got out of prison for unaliving someone and isn't afraid to go back. Guy starts arguing with him, and all of a sudden, my dad screams, I will break your legs and piss down your throat, and hangs up. Guy never called again.